Hello, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us for our 7-day Australia-only update. And there are a lot of moving parts to this update today. We'll kick off with the tropical low in the north here. Now, it is a borderline system. It may become a tropical cyclone, but at the same time that it's about to get to that point, it will be moving inland, and that means it will start to fall apart, at least wind-wise. But there's a lot of rain and humidity trapped around that system for the top part of Australia. Now, the green markings you see are from the Bureau of Meteorology, and that indicates flood watches and flood warnings. That's because as that rain falls, it's then got to drain away. So this great animation from the Bureau shows exactly why. Some of these downpours up here to the north drain all the way down to South Australia. So that's why we're seeing streams and rivers and lakes coming back to life again after this wet weather that's been falling not only up here to the north, but the thunderstorms further along the edge of the hills and ranges out to the east. And we'll put this back up again at the end of the broadcast so you can sit and stare at it. Let's have a look here at the setup for today, Thursday. So we've got the low up here to the north, fair amount of humidity as well around Queensland and the top end. But actually we've got some cooler weather down here to the south. Adelaide, 26 degrees. That's your lowest daytime high of the next week ahead. But you do have a hot, dry week coming up. Melbourne and Canberra, both only 21 degrees today. That's your lowest temperatures of the next week. But on the other side of Australia, that windy weather still affecting the southern part of Western Australia and much of Western Australia, to be honest with you. Perth, you're around about 40 degrees today, but you do drop to 27 degrees tomorrow, Friday. So Mother Nature's air conditioning starts to kick in. And the last thing up here in Darwin, hello to Hector the thunderstorm. If you don't know about Hector the thunderstorm, have a quick Google of it. There's plenty of stories about it, but it's a thunderstorm that pops up basically every single day. So let's go into Friday now and see what is happening. So we've got Brisbane and Cairns with some thundery weather coming in through here for you at the moment. Otherwise, inland areas actually aren't looking too bad. There are a few thunderstorms. Now, the reason why the map I just showed you for today and this one here, this one shows a lot more color. And that's because rather than just showing you a snapshot of the rain at the end of the day, this one shows you 24 hours worth of rainfall. So you can sort of clearly see most of that wet weather up here to the north around that possible tropical cyclone, and also coming in here around Brisbane and Port Macquarie might also see a few of those heavy showers. As we go into the weekend, Canberra, 28 degrees for you, both Saturday and Sunday with a few showers around. That's your hottest day of the next week. And Sydney joins you as well, 27 to 30 degrees around Sydney with showers both Saturday and Sunday. And again, the weekend, your hottest days of the next 7 days coming up. Now, further north in Brisbane might be a shower, but generally speaking, a dry weekend on the way for you. Temperature around 30 degrees. And a little bit further up in inland, Emerald, Queensland, hello to you, 30 degrees and cloudy as we go through Saturday. Into Sunday, and we'll drop down now to Tasmania. Haven't talked about you yet. Mostly dry. Got a fairly dry week coming up, except for the west coast where there's a bit of rain. But elsewhere, the main centres are looking fairly dry. Now, hello to the viewers in Devonport and Lower Barrington. I flew over there on flight sim. Looked remarkably a lot like the Bay of Plenty in New Zealand, to be honest with you. And your weather is pretty hot and sunny on Sunday, 27 degrees for you. Further up the eastern coastline around Gympie, not quite as warm, 28 degrees, still obviously very humid, but not as humid as it's been. For that, you need to go further up to Mackay and the far north Queensland. But the hottest weather on Sunday, over here, Perth, 41 degrees, your highest temperature of the next week. But the place that I said incorrectly last week, and hopefully I get it right this time, Carnarvon, 46 degrees for you on Sunday in the shade, which means some areas inland could be closer to 50 degrees Celsius. Excessive heat, please take care, drink lots of water, stay in the shade, or hug an air conditioning unit if you're lucky enough to have one. So that's the weather on Sunday. But by Monday, not so much in the way of dramatic weather going on around the place, except for some thunderstorms inland here, humid up here to the north, but actually not quite as crazy on Monday. Adelaide's 34 degrees or so, maybe a little bit higher than that for areas inland, your highest temperature of the week. And Hobart, a sou'easter coming out of the Southern Ocean, means you've got your lowest daytime maximum of 19 degrees. It'll be a little warmer further up around Lonnie because you're a little bit more protected there. Now to Tuesday, thundery weather from that tropical system drags over towards Broome. You'll be happy with getting some of that wet weather, and there'll be a few thunderstorms inland here in the outback. Nothing too major or significant by the looks of it, but look at all the cloud and showery weather along the eastern side. Now, it's not as humid as it has been. So really from about Brisbane southwards, it's still pretty warm, but your airflow is coming directly off the Tasman Sea and then coming down as a northerly. So it's kind of a fake northerly in some ways because it's not coming from out of the tropics. It's coming from Norfolk Islands. Sorry that I stand over you on this, but hopefully you can see yourself in the Tropical Islands update that we put out for you. So let's move into Wednesday now, and Melbourne, 29 degrees, 30 degrees. As that northerly kicks in from inland, your highest maximum temperature, I should say, of the next week ahead. And further up, where the thunderstorms are, Lightning Ridge, appropriately named, 38 degrees for you. I flew into Lightning Ridge on Flight Simulator. There were no ridges. I was expecting to see a hill, and it's completely flat. That surprised me, and so I Googled why is it called that, and that's a bit of a dark history. They found a dead man, his dead dog, and 200 dead sheep from a lightning strike back in the 1800s. Unless I got that wrong, please tell me if I did, but that's an interesting story behind the name of Lightning Ridge. Now, talking about Flight Sim, I've been talking about this for a while now. So Dorrigo, I hope I said that one right, Dorrigo in New South Wales. It's just inland from Coffs Harbour, right up here on the plateau, nearly 1 kilometre above sea level, 900 and something metres. Beautiful little spot. One of my favourite that I went to on Flight Sim over the last week from all the recommendations that you gave me. But look at this great plateau that just drops off the other side as you head towards the coastal side of New South Wales and obviously going further up towards Queensland there. So a really cool, dramatic looking image there. And your weather, a few thunderstorms around for Friday and Monday, mostly dry weekend. And look at those temperatures. Pretty good to go for a walk through the rainforest there. Thank you very much for the suggestion to fly around, and please do keep them coming. Tell me where you're from. I'm enjoying learning a lot more about Australia and the terrain, the geography, and the weather, the climate. So here is the 7-day rainfall map. Now it shows most of the heavy rain up here in the blue and the purple. That's where you're getting up to 100 to 200 millimeters or more. Thunderstorms through this area here. Now don't exactly think it'll plan it the way it looks. Sometimes with this thundery kind of weather, it shifts around a wee bit, but you get the idea. Thundery weather inland for the eastern side of Australia over the next 7 days. And just pause that screen if you need to take a closer look at it. So that is all from me. A lot to talk about in our video this week. Thank you so much to everybody who writes all the kind comments and the supportive comments and the suggestions. We read all of them. We try to write to you all. And please keep me up to date with where you're from. The more remote, the more isolated you are, the more fantastic I find it. But also, please tell me if you're in one of the big cities too. Always good to learn new suburb names in places like Melbourne and Brisbane and Sydney, etc. That's all from me. Have a great week ahead. We'll see you next week.